All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Eddie Law. These are the fellas from Stand and Bang MMA, Aaron Robbins, and from Gem City Fighting, Fred Kirby. We are the Keyboard Warriors. Let's start the show off talking about UFC Chicago and that clinic TJ Dillashaw put on Renan Barão. For one, I picked Renan. I thought he was going to come back and show, the old Renan, and he did show the old Renan, and that's kind of what did him in. Aaron, did you expect this kind of performance from TJ Dillashaw? I mean, it was even better than the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah, who did I pick last week?
TJ.
There you go.
All right, fully expected. What about you, Fred? What'd you think of the fight?
Look at that fucking smug look on his face. Who did I pick last week? You know what? I tell you what, I was a little fucking surprised, man. I just wasn't that sold on TJ. I guess it just took him so fucking long to snuff out old Joe fucking whoever the fuck. Then it just kind of, I don't know, I didn't think that first fight was a good indicator of what Renan Barão could do. But it was. And TJ Dillashaw is just that fucking good. And I tell you what, man, it's not one of those things where I'm kind of still on the fence. I got to hand it to TJ. That was a hell of a performance, man. And what I liked about him was his willingness to engage and get in the pocket. Like, he was technically sound, but he did get clipped a couple times because he fucking flat got in the pocket and started popping Renan. Like, he was aggressive, man, and looking for the fucking finish. I can't hate on it, man. TJ Dillashaw, he's the fucking champ at 35, and he deservingly so, dog.
Let me expand on what I said. Now, generally, I'm not all that cocky about my picks because I'm about as good as a coin toss when it comes to fight picks. But what I was going from is Fred and I talk all the time off air about how confidence makes a fighter. Like, Conor McGregor, the reason why he's so good is because he believes in himself. He believes that he's invincible. Now, prior to the TJ Dillashaw fight, Renan Barão thought he was invincible. You could tell by the way he walked. You could tell by the way he fought. Now, after TJ snuffed him the first fight, when he had his comeback fight halfway in between getting snuffed and then getting TJ again, that wasn't the same Renan Barão. And that's why I said last week, it all depends on what Barão shows up. And you know what Barão showed up as soon as you watched him walk to the ring. His eyes were down. He wasn't excited. He's like, man, I'm about to get my face smashed in again. And he already looks like the fucking bat boy from the Sun Times or whatever the fuck it is, or the National Enquirer. He can't take too many more beatings to that ugly mug. But then when he got into the cage, Bruce Buffer's doing his thing. He's looking down at the canvas. And then they announced his name, and he just goes... And all the while, fucking TJ Dillashaw's doing cartwheels, fucking smacking high fives, grabbing titties on his way to the cage. He's a happy boy, you know what I mean? Now, I will tell you this, for that first, how long was it, guys? Like, I don't know, maybe until he got comfortable. The first minute and a half, when he had his hands down by his waist and just smiling and clowning, I'm like, watch this. He's going to pull this stupid-ass bullshit and catch a spinning heel kick upside his head and be the shortest-lived champion at 135. But no, man. And the only thing I guess I don't ever really have a problem with it. You guys know that I'm into fighter safety. But 27 unanswered punches at the end of the fight? 27? Like, you don't stop it at, say, like, I don't know, 14, 15, you know what I mean? After a while, it's like, God damn, Herb, how much money did Renan owe you?
I don't know.
It's just a shellacking.
I gotta say though, he didn't even fall. Like, they stopped the fight while he was still standing, right?
Yeah, no shit, because every time he went to fall, TJ hit him with an uppercut, bing, and stand him right the fuck back up.
Oh man, bullshit.
Hey,
he could have got clipped with a punch that would have dropped him.
Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you, Kirby, because you just got done talking about how Bisbing was held up by old Talis Latas.
He was.
Same thing.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, the uppercuts definitely held them up. Now, what do you guys think? We'll start with Fred here. The corners were vastly different. TJ would go to his corner, and you could hear him. They were talking about, well, obviously, if you had the British feed or the European feed, the BT Sport feed, you could actually hear the corners. TJ Dillashaw's corner was giving him instructions. Renan Barão's corner was like, you can't fuck this up. Basically, that's what they were saying. I mean, the corners, I think, like, I mean, if anything, TJ was getting pumped up, and Renan was getting just, kind of shit on. How much of a difference do you think that made, Fred?
I think that, I guess you can't really say that all Brazilian corners are like that, but I think they fight with a lot of heart, and they try to get their fighters revved up like old school movie style. Like, go fucking take this. This is your fucking championship. This is your belt. This is your time. And sometimes you need technical advice. Like, keep your fucking left hand up and feint the right. What the fuck? You don't need, sometimes you need that shit, and it seems like a lot of American fighters do get that. What the fuck? Like Greg Jackson. Every time that cute prick brings you back, he's got you listening to the waterfalls, and then he's technically telling you exactly what to do when you go out there, man. So, yeah, that matters fucking tremendously. Not like TJ necessarily needed it, but obviously that's your fucking corner's job. They're not there to be cheerleaders. They're there to give you technical advice that you don't notice when you're in the fucking heat of the moment. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, them telling him, don't blow this, just a little more pressure is probably not the best advice to give the guy.
No, definitely, and I agree with that completely. Aaron, what do you think of that? I mean, the corners, just like Fred said, their job to keep you going and to give you advice of what to do with what they see. Did that doom Hennon even more than he had already been?
I think at no time should a corner put more doubt in your mind. And if you got somebody screaming in your face, you're blowing it. You know what I mean? Probably not the best thing, because he was already fucking mentally defeated in the second round, maybe the third round. Because, all right, Hennon's not known for being real good on the gas tank. You know what I mean? Like, he presses the gas, and by the third round, fourth and fifth, he's kind of cruising. Do you know what I mean? So when you sit down after the second round and you know that TJ's already blown you out of the water twice, and then you got both guys in your face yelling, "Come on, asshole, try harder." Yeah, no, it doesn't. I don't think it's ever been helpful. That's why there's certain corners that are so great. Fred brought up Jackson, and there's probably no better one than that calm, just one guy talking, giving you technical advice, or telling you stay the course. You're doing fantastic. Don't change anything. You got this guy figured out, now go back out there. Worst thing I hate is when they pan in on a corner and you got the fucking dude outside the cage screaming at the back of their head. You got the guy icing down their back talking in one ear saying some shit. And then you got the head coach in their face saying some other shit, and the fighter's just like this. Not catching a fucking none of it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not helpful. Tell me what I'm doing wrong and let me go back in there and try to fix it. But all three guys just yelling at once, that doesn't do any good. But I'll tell you what, Henan Barao was defeated during his walk-in music. He was already done. He was mentally done.
Yeah, definitely, before the fight even started. Now, what do you guys think about a potential? Well, okay, fuck it. TJ was talking about he wants to fight Cruz. Cruz is already talking. He started talking shit, pumping up the fight or just pumping himself up. Cruz has always been a shit talker, but he's a very, very confident guy. Fred, you like the shit talkers. What do you think of this fight? And should Cruz really even be talking since he's not even cleared yet to fight?
Absolutely. I love this fight. This is the fight that's got to happen. It's the fight that we all want to see. And I think it's fucking fantastic that Cruz is running his mouth. He needs to stay healthy and make this fucking thing actually happen. But come on. If you're a fucking fan of the sport and a fan of 35, this is kind of it's became a dream match, right? It's a weird thing because Dominic's been gone for so long and TJ kind of came out of nowhere. But because of the way they fight and their styles and that matchup, and as hot as both of them have kind of been, even though Dominic's been hurt forever, he did come back and fucking snuff Mizugaki real fucking handily. So he's still got a little bit of fire. Fuck yeah, I love that fight. And the fact that Dominic's building a little bit of a little beef, that's fucking awesome, man. It's just more fuel to the fire. Let's just hope he fucking actually can get back in there.
Yeah, somebody saran wrap that motherfucker. Aaron, and a lot of people have been talking about, a lot of people have been talking about the style matchup. Some people are saying, oh, they fight the exact same. Other people are saying they're completely different. What do you think about the matchup, their styles? Are they similar? Are they not similar? And overall, do you think this fight actually even goes down?
Yeah, I think it goes down. And yeah, they're similar. I mean, I would have to say that Dwayne Ludwig was taking a lot of notes on Dominic Cruz when he started changing the Team Alpha Male guys' fighting style. Before Dwayne started doing that shit with the guys, pretty much the only person that we saw, and this is way back in WEC, was the Dominator. You know what I mean? That cut and quick angles and just constant movement, real good, solid footwork, staying in the pocket, real good head movement, stuff like that. That's why, Uriah Faber tried and lost, and that's why a lot of guys went up against Dominic Cruz, tried and lost. When he changed over his style, now you guys remember, Uriah Faber does have a win over Dominic, but that was back when he was like 14, and he wasn't fighting very good. But then once he came out with this version of himself, he's been untouchable. And then he beat old fucking Pokemon Tamaguchi, whatever the hell his name is, in his last fight. That was pretty impressive. But now my fear is this. He comes out and he snuffs TJ, goes to the gym, and blows out his vaginal ligament again, and we got nobody to fight for 36 months. You know what I mean? I would like to see him have one in between. Like, go out, snuff somebody real hard, and then be able to return within a normal amount of time without blowing out both your knees. Yeah, that's my concern. We just don't need another champion that fights once every 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, you know, you're talking about the Cain Velasquez of the world. But, yeah, let's talk – what's up?
Well, I just want to say that I do think they're a little different, though. Obviously, they are very similar, but they are kind of different. I think that fucking Dominic's got a little bit of that herky-jerky shit going on, and I think that he takes less risks. I think that TJ hits a little harder, and he's more willing to get in the pocket. Like, he uses good footwork and shit, but like I said, man, if you noticed, TJ was not, like, nervous to get hit. I think Dominic is a bit more of a passive fighter, all things considered.
I don't know. I think that TJ is going to have to be careful with that because TJ is a whole bunch shorter.
True. It could get him in trouble. I just think that he is a bit more aggressive than Dominic.
Ultimately, Aaron, who do you think wins that fight if it actually happens?
Dominic Cruz.
What about you, Fred?
TJ Dillashaw.
Really?
Just to stick it to Aaron.
Yeah, just to be a fucking cute prick. That's why.
Well, you know what? I do think it's a toss-up. I mean, because fuck, Dominic has been out for so long. Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, man, TJ did legit fucking impress me with this performance. So yeah, fuck it, I'll jump right on the old fucking hype train.
All right, let's talk about the co-main event: Miesha Tate against Jessica Eye. Jessica actually did pretty well in the first round. I mean, she didn't look phenomenal, but she held her own. Then Miesha Tate, you know, good old Miesha Tate actually found some power. These motherfuckers. Good old Miesha Tate found some power in that right hand and pretty much beat her up for the rest of the fight. Now we might get Tate Rousey 3, which I don't think anyone wants to see. I don't think anyone cares to see.
There ain't no maybe.
It's happening.
Big old fucking bald goofball came out and said it's confirmed as far as I understand.
God damn it.
Oh, fuck, did he?
Fuck.
That's what I've been reading. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
God damn it. Hopefully not, man.
He would fucking do that thing, and then they're gonna hype it up, make a bunch of videos, and try to make a bunch of reviews.
I just want to put this out there for all the people watching. From now on, if I say Mr. Potato Head, that's Dana White.
That sounds like an accurate statement.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling him from now on, Mr. Potato Head.
All right. Well, what did you think of the fight overall? Miesha against Jessica Eye. Miesha seems like she's found a little bit of power in her striking. I don't think he's gonna do fuck all against Ronda Rousey. But still, she seems to have improved just a little bit more every time out. Sorry, I meant Aaron. My bad.
Oh, sorry, dude. Well, Fred and I have thought we did this on Stand and Bang with John Wayne Parr. She is the best of the rest. If Ronda Rousey didn't exist, Miesha Tate would be the bantamweight champion, and she'd probably be the bantamweight champion for a long time. She out-wrestles wrestlers, and then you got silly-ass Kat Zingano. Oh, I beat her. You know what? Because of your fucking fight IQ against Ronda Rousey, I scrubbed that victory from my memory banks. You know what I mean? You lose. I don't care. You beat her a month of Sundays ago and whatever. But none of us really had confidence in Jessica Eye going into this. I mean, she's shown us nothing. This will show you the artificial rankings, just like Betch Correia has moved up 2 ranks or 3 ranks just in preparation for the fight with Rousey so people don't think it's ridiculous. How was Eye ranked 5? She was 1-1-1 in the UFC, and then she's fighting arguably the second best fighter in the UFC, and everybody was like, hashtag I believe. You know, I believe she's going to need a bag of ice after this fucking fight. That's what I believe. And Miesha, I said, don't sleep on Miesha Tate, man. She might get the best of her for the first little bit of the first round, which is exactly what happened. But then after she landed that old straight right down the pipe, and Jessica Eye went down on her butt cheeks, and then by the second round, she was defeated on the stool. She looked like she wanted to cry. She didn't want to finish out that third round.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Now, Fred, apparently we're gonna get Tate Rousey 3. More than likely, I don't believe Correia has a fucking shot in hell. But we're gonna get Rousey Tate 3. What do you think of the fight? And do you even care about it?
I think it's a fucking horrible idea for a fight. Miesha Tate is like Goro. You know what I'm saying? You guys ever play Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
The real big guy with 4 arms?
Yeah. The point is you got to fight him before you get to Shang Tsung. You know what I'm saying? Like, Miesha Tate needs to fight Holly Holm so that we can find out if we got a legit contender for. Let me tell you something, Jack. Nobody gives a fuck about Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey 3. There are less fucks given about that than this Betchko Hayda fight, which there aren't many fucks given for that one. Who really thinks fucking Betchko Hayda is going to win? And yeah, cute little fucking Nick, if you're listening or if you hear this, I want to hear a detailed explanation of exactly how the fuck Betchko Hayda beats Ronda Rousey. So, a horrible idea. I think that if they actually make that fight, it is going to... Fuck, this fight is not great for Ronda. The last thing we need is 2 fights in a row like this.
Right. Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, I don't think anybody's really kidding themselves. Did you guys see the odds in the Rousey-Correa fight?
Oh, God.
She's a negative 1,500 favorite, and Correa is a plus 750 underdog. Ooh. That is ridiculous odds. That means don't bet on Ronda Rousey. You're not going to win no money unless you can drop $100,000. And nobody is, for a plus 750, nobody's expecting Betchko Hayda to last. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be an embarrassing massacre.
You know what? I'm with you on that. And Ronda Rousey's come out and said that she's gonna, she's gonna beat her up, and all this shit, punish her and shit. Betchko Hayda trying her best to talk shit, but after that whole suicide thing, her shit talk game's not that great. It's gone pretty bad.
No. Her fighting skills aren't that great, and that's the fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, her shit talk's kind of lame too, but like, if she actually was somewhat of a legit threat, the fight would matter. But she's not, and it don't.
Mike Jarvis, of course, chiming in with the what you talk about, Nick. Talk about Nick.
What you talk about, Nick? That's awesome. You know what? I don't. And for all of her bravado and all of that, when it comes right down to it, Ronda's not gonna punish her and bring her into the fourth. No. If she gets a chance, she's gonna shit whip her on the ground and rip her fucking arm out of the socket. And that's probably exactly what's gonna happen. And then Betchko Hayda is gonna be like, oh well. I guess I'm not going to be the one who fucking retires undefeated because that's ridiculous.
Now, real quick before we move on to the next fight at UFC Chicago, well, you guys were talking about confidence. Betchko Hayda, everyone that's lost against Ronda Rousey has said, "Oh, I'm gonna go get better and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna win that title." Nobody's been able to do it. Ronda or Miesha Tate has tried, kinda. I mean, they fought the first time in Strikeforce and they fought in the UFC. So Aaron, do you believe? I mean. That confidence thing's a motherfucker, right? Like, it's a big motherfucker.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between confidence and stupidity. I mean, what's Betchko Hayda's claim to fame? She beat up all the horsewomen. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I mean, out of the 4 horsewomen, there's only one fighter. I mean, that was clear to see with old tit slip fucking Elizabeth Phillips over there with what's her name there?
Jessamine Duke.
Yeah, Jessamine Duke and Shayna Baszler and, the other one that's on MMA Roasted, and all of Ronda's friends suck. She's an awesome fighter, but all the other chicks that hang around her, just because you hang around a real sexy chick doesn't make you sexy, and just because you hang around the best fighter in the world don't mean you can fight with the shit, and that is a fucking classic example of that shit right there.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Fred, did you ever catch on to that whole 4 horsewomen shit? Every wrestling, I don't know if you're wrestling, I don't even think you were ever a wrestling fan, but were you? Okay. Every wrestling fan that follows me was pissed the fuck off when Ronda Rousey and those 3 other chicks were calling themselves 4 horsewomen. They're all beat up. They're barely using it now. Do you buy into those kind of gimmicks, like the wrestling gimmicks in MMA?
No. Like, did I think that they had some kind of special power together and that they were going to tag team hoes? I mean, no, I didn't. What the fuck do I care that they call? Like dude said, that 3 of them suck and then one of them's the best in the world. Maybe had like, the other one been fucking Johanna and there was like this team of badass bitches, then it's like, yeah, you better watch the fuck out. These are some bad, but 3 of them were the 3 weak sisters.
Yeah, wait a second. Yeah, exactly. Who are the 4 horsewomen? It's Ronda. There's Shayna Baszler. There's Jessamine Duke. Who's the other one?
There's the Marina broad.
Yeah, Marina Shafir. Who
it is. It is fucking 30-second shitbird.
Right. Yeah, who just got knocked the fuck out in Invicta.
Yeah, okay, it's what I thought.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's silly. I mean, whatever. Like it's them trying to ride Ronda's coattails.
The thing that gets me right is that they grabbed that from Revelations in the Bible. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse were like the baddest fucking things on the planet. They should be more like the three fucking pussies and one badass. That's a terrible nickname, and they should stop using it, because now pretty much haven't they all been drummed out but Ronda?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, Jessamine.
Do you want to see Jessamine Duke fight anymore?
Don't care.
Baszler's gone. Sharif, is that her last name?
Shafir.
Whatever. She got embarrassed in Invicta. You know what I mean? At this point, let's just be ridiculous. Stop putting them in the Metro commercials. Let's just focus in on who can actually fight.
Exactly. And now, speaking of another fight here, this probably was fight of the night. I didn't read the bonuses, but this probably was fight of the night. Edson Barbosa against Paul Felder. That was a hell of a fight. That was fun as fuck to watch. Fred, what did you think of that fight?
You just said it, man. That was a fantastic fucking fight, man. The one thing I take away from this fight is it seems like it's one of those fights where neither man really fucking lost a whole lot. Like, I feel like fucking Paul Felder won't be taking a major step down in competition. I mean, he didn't win the fucking fight, but it was a close, fun fight, man. So, you know, good on both guys. I will say that Aaron points out a little bit of thing. Like, once he landed the one spinning attack, he kind of went a little crazy with the spins, what the fuck, the Irish tornado, if you will.
No, man. I was gonna say, are you a comic book fan? Fucking Red Tornado. That's what I'm gonna call him from now. Red Tornado. He landed that one spinning back fist, and that son of a bitch looked like a fucking tilt-a-whirl in there the rest of the time. Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Dude, at some point, they were doing it. They were doing it at the same fucking time. That shit was great.
Well, you know, because fucking Edson Barbosa's got the same thing in his head too. He fucking killed Terry Edom. I really do think he killed him. Have you ever seen Terry Edom since?
No.
I think they just kind of fucking snuck him out of the cage dead and was just like, put that up on the highlight reel. Don't ever tell anybody Terry Edom's dead. So he landed the fucking spinning heel kick from hell, and Paul Felder killed Danny Castillo. So now both these guys are just like, you know what really works? Centrifugal force. Let's fucking do this shit. But it was an entertaining fight, man, and both those guys hit hard as hell. I got a different respect for Paul Felder now because he absorbed those blows, man. When he put his arms up at the end and he was all just fucking crisscross purple on his ribs, but he did, you know, he had the poker face the whole time. He was starting to swell up on his face a little bit. Edson Barbosa was real swelled up. But you know what my favorite part of this was? Is now all you stupid bastards out there who keep questioning Edson Barbosa's chin, he got clipped a bunch of times in that fight, and he was never on ice skates. And Paul Felder hits hard. So it's fluky, man. Sometimes you get touched in the right place. GSP, Matt Serra. Yeah, you know what I mean? Could Matt Serra knock GSP out again? Probably not after the aliens bring him back and, you know, he's not losing time anymore. But that one time, man, he skated his fist across his head. And George St. Pierre looked like he had butter on his feet the whole rest of the fight.
Speaking of Matt Serra and cornerman from the shit from before, usually a cornerman just yelling some crazy shit at you don't work, except for when it's Ray Longo going, I want you to punch a fucking hole in his chest. And then fucking Chris Weidman goes down and punches a fucking hole in his chest. So sometimes it works.
Are you booing me?
I do like their fucking swag.
Oh man, that fucking alley Quinta blow up was fucking classic. I'll never forget that. Now Paul Felder, like you guys were saying, he absorbed a shit ton of damage. Now this is one of those cases where he lost the fight, but he kind of gained a little bit more, right? I mean, a lot of people are gonna want to see Paul Felder, you know, fight anybody. They just want to see the guy get back in there and fuck somebody up, right, Fred?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. This is one of those fights. He lost the fight, but I don't think it really hurts his momentum. You know, we kind of talked about this on the show with John Wayne Parr, man. Sometimes in MMA, man, if you lose a fight, fuckers turn on you quick, especially when you was undefeated. It's like, ah, shit, he sucks. He ain't who we thought he was. It doesn't feel like he got that treatment, really. It was a super close fight, kind of maybe could have went both ways. Like, he's still a decent prospect and still a guy that people are going to want to see in the cage quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that completely. So, and as far as Edson Barbosa's chin, I was surprised that he took all that damage and didn't drop at all. I have a newfound respect for Barbosa for sure. So we'll see who those two get next. And then real quick, let's talk about the guy that reffed his own fight, Joe Lozon, beating the crap out of Tegnari Gomi. And first of all, it was sad to see because I like the fireball kick. What's up, Fred?
Can I go first on this one?
Go ahead right now.
Because I tell you what, man, I actually have a confession to make. Very rarely do I bullshit or lie about what I feel about something, but I did. on Standing Bank. I'm going to be honest with you. We had John Wayne Paul on, and we asked him his feelings on this, and he kind of went the whole, Joe's a solid guy. He did the right thing. You don't disagree with John Wayne. So I wrote suit, and I said, you know what, you're right. I'm not a fucking fighter. But let me tell you something. Now that we're amongst friends, I wasn't fucking thrilled about it. That is not Joe Lauzon's motherfucking job. Now, I respect that he feels that he felt Takanori Gomi went limp, but he's not a doctor, and he's not a chiropractor, and that's not what he's there to do. He needs to wait on Herb Dean to pull him the fuck off. And if by some strange chance Takanori Gomi takes some crazy damage, it's on the UFC and Herb Dean. Fucking Gomi signed on the dotted line. What if Gomi pops up and he's like, hey, goddammit, I was just fine. You don't get to call the fight, Joe. I mean, I respect that you didn't want to kill me, and Gomi didn't complain, so it ended up being the right decision. But in a different context, you can't just have fuckers being like, yo, I felt like you had enough. That ain't your choice, goddammit. Keep hitting him.
What do you think about that, Aaron?
You know what? I actually kind of agree, because it's not like when Brian Stan stopped on Alessio Sakara. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, Sakara was fucking done. Like,
Dead.
Knocked out, done.
Right.
Now, if you really slowed down the Gomi fight, Gomi's eyes were still open. He hit him a couple of times on the the left side of his face really good, but Gomi was, I mean, it's not like his tongue was hanging out or his eyes were rolled up in his head, right? And if he would have, okay, in that situation, you know what would have been smart? Just ease up. Do that little bullshit, just like nang 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 nang, just dong on his head a couple of times and let Herb touch you on the back, because it was weird. Herb didn't even know what the fuck just happened. He socked him real hard 3 times in the side of his head. Then he stood up. And then Herb was like, what the fuck you standing up for? You letting him up? Like you want to finish him on the feet? And then he did that U-turn like he was going to come back and really smash Gomi. And then Herb was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's not let that happen. So it was just, I don't know, it was kind of just like one of those things. And then, of course, he's like, well, I respected Takanori so much and habba dabba dabba. But I kind of agree with that because that leads to weird things, like walk-away knockouts. Sometimes, you get a cocky prick and he's like, pow! And then he walks away all fucking happy, and the other guy wasn't really all that knocked out, and you just look like a fucking retard because you walked away. Keep hitting him till the fucking referee stops you. That's exactly what they tell you. You ain't friends in there. You're trying to earn money. If you feel like you're really hurting your buddy, then just lighten up. Just keep putting your fist in his face. I mean, Jesus Christ, how about the second GSP and BJ Penn fight? Mm-hmm. That got stopped, and BJ Penn just kept turning his head. It wasn't like GSP was hurting him. Fucking BJ Penn just couldn't get his tired old fat ass up. So he's just like, okay, left side of my face, right side of my face, left side of my face.
Right.
And then they stopped the fight. So just do that. Ease up. Don't just stop, because that's just asking for trouble. Because one of these days somebody's going to be like, bang, walk away knockout. And the other guy ain't. He's just going to stumble a little bit, come back and kick him in his fucking face and be like, there you go. That's what you get for stopping.
Exactly. I don't think it was bad. It was the right decision with Joe Lauzon because Gomi didn't complain, blah, blah, blah. But you don't want shit like this going on. You don't want dudes thinking, okay, well, when I feel like a guy's had enough, I should just go ahead and stop. Or if I feel his body go limp, fuck that. That's not your decision. That's not what you're there to do. You're there to keep that motherfucker limp, not show mercy. What the fuck?
Yeah, definitely. One fight we got to talk about in the prelims, unfortunately, because I'm disappointed in Eddie Wineland. The fact that he got outstruck by Brian Caraway was depressing as fuck, and I wanted the fight stopped. I mean, Eddie Wineland looked scared. He looked legitimately scared. I mean, Aaron, what do you think of that fight?
I think that's a guy who's way past his expiration date, that's had his jaw broken, because if you notice that, I mean, Brian Caraway is maybe the worst striker in the UFC.
Likely.
And then after he touched Wineland a couple times in his jaw, Wineland started this stuff all the time. He was testing out his shit. He heard something click in his jaw and was like, fuck, am I going to have to eat soup for 6 weeks again? He's just done. That's another guy. Eddie Wineland was good, 8 years ago? Some crazy shit. I mean, he was the inaugural WEC champion at that weight class. Holy Christ, we're talking about a long time ago. And Brian Caraway, I just don't get it. I don't get none of it. I don't get the Misha Tate connection. I don't get him being in the UFC. I just don't get none of it, man. He put his head down in the corner, and he's going real bald here, and he kind of all ugly right up in here, and then you see Miesha Tate, and it's like, what? Did you lose a bet? I don't fucking get it. I don't know. I digress.
Maybe she hit him with the car, just like in like Back to the Future.
I tell you what, I tend to root for the underdog and the rebel.
This motherfucker!
I fuck with Brian Caraway now. Fuck
God
it.
damn
You know what?
Wow.
Listen, hey, listen. All
You
things,
know what? You know
all
what?
things being
You know
equal,
what?
the Kilo Prick's a good fighter. He's
Listen.
a good fighter, and he's banging your dream bitch.
But fuck you know what I have to say to all that? Aljamain Sterling.
Okay, that's a good fight. Hey, but listen, all jokes aside, Brian Caraway's actually not that bad of a fighter. He does seem to fight. Prove me wrong. Who has fucking beat the fucking little shitbird?
Dude, you need to open up some windows in your house. Your ventilation is obviously bad or something. Is it like 100 degrees here? Brian Caraway's not a bad fighter?
Point to the fight where he looks bad.
I'll tell you what. I have you recorded on the show, fucking Stand and Bang, saying that you never want to see that fucking cute prick fight again.
Hey, listen. Same thing with TJ. What the fuck? Fucking things change quick in this sport. The fucker was aggressive. He was calling Eddie out. Hey, man, what the fuck? He's fucking banging Miesha Tate. The cute little prick deserves his fucking credit. He's fucking, whatever, you know? And the fact that all of you hate him is making me want to like him. Everybody hates him, so, you know.
I'll tell you this.
Join the prick's team.
I like to shit on at least a couple of people on Twitter every time on this show because a lot of people deserve it. Usually I shit on MMA Roasted because his shit is stale. But he did say something pretty funny. It's an old joke, but he kind of used it the right way. He said, Miesha Tate told Brian Caraway that if he won on Saturday, he'd finally get anal. Brian Caraway ain't going to be able to sit down for a week.
That was good. I seen that.
That is pretty good. No, I mean, here's the thing. There's something embarrassing about having to weigh in at the same weight that your chick fights at, no? I mean, he fights at 135, she fights at 135. It's just weird.
Hey, I don't know, man. For all the fucking talking that we do, the guy gets to go to bed with Miesha Tate. So,
Yeah.
My hat's off to you, sir.
Okay, but yo, listen, for real, what's next for Brian Caraway? Aljamain Sterling? That's a fucking good fight, man.
Look,
he needs a fucking test, man. Maybe he is fucking that good. Cute little prick does keep winning.
No, I think
Sorry.
Aljamain Sterling is that good. I think that he gets Brian Caraway down and snuffs him quick.
You make a good point. He even used the fish hook. Yet another reason to like Brian Caraway. The cute cocksucker will cheat. I respect this game.
Like, if Caraway doesn't duck Aljamain and we finally get to see that fight, fuck yeah, Caraway gets the shit kicked out of him. And speaking of Sterling, you guys buy that story that he said that he's been going around saying that Floyd Mayweather tried to steal his girl and Aljamain basically told him he's gonna kick his ass?
Have you ever seen his bitch? Fuck yeah, I buy that story. His fucking bitch is beautiful. I bet you Floyd did try to bang her.
That if any females are watching our show, that's really disrespectful, Fred. They're women, not Jesus Christ, buddy.
What the fuck? That was a compliment. I called her beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful bitch. It's like you just canceled everything out right there, dude. That's the canceled out comment.
It works.
All right, dude. All right, so unless you guys want to talk about the nip slip, which is weird. And first of all, yeah, you know what? Real quick, is that a Reebok thing? The Reebok? I mean, because it's never happened before. Then all of a sudden we get these Reebok, sports bras, and boom, nip slip. What do you think, Fred?
I don't know if it's Reebok and like faulty design. I mean, they're titties, man. We gotta figure out how to keep these things in there. If you shoot for an armbar and you shoot a hill up there, and what are you gonna? That could probably happen with damn near anything, unless it's like melted to her tit.
Yeah. Did you guys see Davey Boy got a lot of shit for retweeting it like a million times?
Well, I thought that was funny because Davey Boy wasn't the only one retweeting that.
Wasn't.
That thing blew up my timeline for 2 days, and it's every other post on Facebook. Come on, guys. It's a little old brown piece of skin. If it gets you that excited, you should be watching a different channel. Get a little bit of education, look at a lot of titties, get it out of your system. Titties. Because it was Elizabeth Phillips' titty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that.
It does make a good point, though. What if it had been Ronda Rousey's titty?
Oh, that would have broken the internet. I said that.
Internet explodes.
It's kind of a good point. Like, they don't need that happening with her.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that damn near, remember, that was actually in Sports Illustrated. That was an article in Sports Illustrated. I can't remember who she was fighting. Was it Kaufman? And her boobs almost exploded out of her top. And everybody was like, oh!
What kind of nipples do you think she's got? Big ones or small ones? Big ones? She's probably got little small ones.
I don't want to think about it. Her girlfriend knows.
There you go. Fucking, all right, let's move on here. Let's talk about Josh Koscheck saying that Dana White, basically his quote is this: Aaron bitch Dana White is making UFC lose fans from childish actions. So he's referring to Dana White going on Twitter a few nights ago and just for, I think it was like an hour or two, just going at, UFC fans bitching about the Reebok thing. And the Stitch thing, by the way, and the Stitch getting fired thing. So Dana White's coming back at him, but he's not arguing with him. He's just calling him fat. Is that what your face looks like? You got 6 followers. Just like the most childish shit ever. And Koscheck's kind of shitting him on it. First of all, Aaron, what do you think about Dana White actually, doing that again? He stopped for a while, for a little while, a very little while. And then he came back. Now he's back at it again with that bullshit. And then Koscheck calls him out. What do you think?
First off, I thought you said Koscheck called him Aaron bitch. And I was like,
Aaron bitch.
Yeah, Aaron, not Aaron. I'm Aaron. The word E-R-R-A-N-D, Aaron bitch. Oh, right. Man, this guy's a fucking multi-millionaire and the president of the biggest mixed martial arts organization. You know what somebody does? You know what somebody does in that position? They don't talk to their fans, their haters, nothing. You get automatic tweets that say, "Hey, tune into UFC on Fox 16." And then you keep your big, bald, stupid mouth shut. Plain and simple. Stop with. I used to have a lot of respect for Dana White about 5 years ago and prior to that. And I got to tell you what, lately, man, it's almost like the guy needs a wake-up call. Because pretty much since Reebok has started, he said what? Fuck all the fighters. You belong to the UFC and fuck you if you don't like it. Now, he said, you know what? Thanks for all the money up to now, but fuck you fans. If I'm not mistaken, without the fighters, without the fans, the UFC is no longer an entity, right? I mean, they can't just be self-sustaining and be just like, we're the UFC, this is great. You can't fuck the fighters and the fans. You can only fuck one of us at a time. Do you know what I mean? Because, I don't know, it's getting kind of old. And how much can you take? Like, all right, right now, let's just theorize. And I could be completely full of shit because I normally am. But let's just theorize. Right now, what are we losing out of the UFC? Has-beens. What happens when they start pissing off or rubbing the wrong way the right nows? The number 6 and 7 and 8 guy runs out their contract, and old Scott Coker's right there and says, yo, you could come over to Bellator, we'll match the UFC contract, plus you can have all the sponsors you want, and we respect you. Then all of a sudden, me and Kirby's worst nightmare is realized. We got fucking fights that never happened because Aljamain Sterling is in the UFC and Brian Caraway's in Bellator, because you know it ain't going to be the other way around, but you know what I mean.
Fred, what do you think about Dana White going off like that? I mean, you enjoy talkers, you enjoy trash talk, but is Dana White just going a little too far with it?
No. Quite frankly, him calling people morons and fat asses on Twitter, I enjoy, because most people on Twitter are morons and fat asses. And to hear somebody of his stature go, yo, go follow your 6 followers, you fucking retard. Zing! I love that shit. That's what you get, you fucking dumbass. But I will say that I actually don't agree with a lot of his choices. The whole Reebok thing, a lot of the decisions he's making are a little weird, and it does kind of feel like it might bite him on the ass a little bit. But as far as him going back and forth with people on Twitter, and then Koscheck getting his pussy hurt over it, it's enough with that. I'm sure if you go through Josh Koscheck's timeline, there's a time where he called a fan a stupid fucking whatever the fuck, because he's a mouthy little twat too.
I'll tell you what was weird is when they brought Koscheck out to Bellator, and all of a sudden he was all pearly whites and smiles. I'm so happy to be at Bellator, and I've always wanted to come back to Spike TV and have do. And it's like, who's this fucking prick? In the UFC, he was always the bad guy. Now what, he's going to fucking switch, what do they call it, babyface in wrestling? He used to be the heel, and now he's switched babyface. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, say some racial slur to Paul Daly. Get this shit rolling. You know what I mean? Don't just smile at him when he's like, this stupid son of a bitch, I've been waiting 8 years to get my hands on him. Josh Koscheck and Tampon Sniffer or whatever the fuck he called him. Crotch check. That's what he called him, Josh Crotch check. And he just smiled. He's like, okay, I'll fight you. You know, it's just like, I don't like that.
Here's the thing, man. Aaron makes a good point. What happens, it's weird, like, who are all these people that talk shit about the UFC? They all happen to be people who don't really matter. Now, do they? Josh Koscheck's got fans, and that sucks he's gone, but Burt Watson, yeah, we be rolling on out the door. Fucking Stitch Duran, everybody loves him, but now that he's gone, what's it really matter? I think that if it was John Jones, or Conor McGregor, or Ronda Rousey, or fucking even Michael Bisping's fucking funny one-eyed ass, I think it would be different. I think that fucking Dana White and them kind of know who's expendable and who's not.
Yeah.
And it's not really fair that they play favorites like that, but they're smart enough to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And sometimes you get in that gray area where somebody like Stitch thinks he's a little bit more fucking important than he is in the grand scheme of things, and DW is just like, fuck it.
Well, it's a great point, because look who's really stepping out of it. Tim Kennedy? Oh, no. Nate Quarry? Who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? It was Tom Lawler right up until he won against John Vellante. Now all of a sudden he's a fucking company man, isn't he? He's like, I can't wait to come back and make $2,500. You know what I mean? He was only a bitch about it until he got back in the octagon. So and that's it. Nothing is going to change until some top players make it change. Phil Davis went to Bellator. Anybody miss Phil Davis in the UFC?
Nope.
No,
Right.
of course not.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you take a guy like, say, well, I don't know, Anthony Johnson, and he's like, you know what? I've had enough of your shit, Mr. Potato Head. I'm going to go see Scott Coker and hang out with my friend Crotchcheck over there. You know what I mean? Guys like that, top 5, top 6, top 7, those guys start to make some noise because who else we got? Brandon Schaub?
Yeah.
Come on.
He'll be in Bellator soon anyway. I mean, he's been talking a lot of shit about Reebok. They pulled his kid off the website.
Yeah, well, I don't. Joe Rogan already said, "Is like, buddy, you ain't who you think you are. Your brains are already starting to get fucking scrambled. He makes more money doing the fucking fighter and the kid than he did just being a fighter. Let me tell you what. If I have an option of sitting with you two goofy fucking pricks for an hour a week and actually having a real job, people be asking where Dr. Robbins was real quick.
No shit, man. No shit. Yeah, and your job's being a doctor, not getting punched in your fucking face. Why the fuck would he choose to do that? Fuck that.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about another fucking UFC vet that's no longer in the UFC. Chris Leben got arrested last Wednesday on charges of possession of an assault weapon. I guess they found something hidden in his house or something. 2 counts of vandalism, 2 counts of trespassing, and a count of violating a temporary order of protection. Now, his wife, or estranged wife, whatever they call it because they're separated, has said or alleged domestic violence, abuse. This is coming just days after the HBO Sports documentary that basically blurted out with not too much evidence that MMA has the most domestic violence cases when the NFL clearly fucking leads everything on that, right? Football. So
who was this, Leben?
Chris Leben?
Yeah, is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he one of the legends of the cage? I'm just
No, I don't think they actually could sign him. I don't think he jumped on board.
I'm just saying. I think we should change the name to Legends of Domestic Abuse.
Oh, this motherfucker! You're not helping the case. Now are you saying?
Here's the thing about all that. You can make all of the fucking silly little statistical correlations you want. Just because you're an MMA fighter, don't mean you beat your woman's ass. Just because you're an NFL player doesn't mean you beat your woman's ass. If you just go straight across the human population, there are fucking dirtbags that put their hands on women, and then there are real men who never do that. And all of those dirtbags infiltrate into our society. I'll tell you what, I trained, you guys know this, I trained at a gym in Marquette. There was one guy who put his hands on a woman in our gym, and we all put our hands on him for it. You know what I mean? I don't think that shit flies. Like, you don't get to American Kickboxing Academy and they go, "Did you beat your wife's ass this weekend?" "Yeah, I fucking sure did. It was awesome." No, that's stupid. You can't put that shit together. It's not because they're MMA fighters. It's because they're stupid, crazy cocksuckers. Chris Leben was never all put together in the first fucking place with his red hair and his black toenails, hanging out with fucking Mayhem Miller, I'll bet you. Oh, fucking wackadoo. So, no, stop with that fucking correlation. What was the NFL player who socked his fucking woman in the elevator?
Ray Rice, and he got cut days later, and he hasn't been back, and they don't even want to give him a chance.
Good, because fuck him. But that doesn't mean that Aaron Rodgers goes home and smacks his wife apart. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you can't correlate that shit. It has nothing to do with being an MMA fighter. Being an MMA fighter does not make you a violent person. I'm sorry, most professional fighters never, ever fight outside of the cage. They get paid to do it. They just don't go around randomly beating the shit out of some dude on a bus. That's, what is that called? Rock stars or whatever the hell those videos are we always see. Yeah, that's what that is. You don't see that shit out of Nick Diaz.
Yeah, even Nick Diaz don't beat nobody's ass. He's too high, fucking high-fiving people and hugging people and shit. Well, I don't know, Fred. Did you expect this out of Leben? First of all, Leben already came out and said, "Yeah, I don't beat my wife's ass or shit," and he's basically claiming innocence and all that shit.
Well, of course he did, but yeah, I mean, listen, all jokes aside, it doesn't surprise me. Chris Leben's a troubled kid. He has been since that fucking first season of The Ultimate Fighter. Him and his nutty ways is what made it good, man, but it's not funny or cute no more. He's had bad drug addictions. He's suffered with fucking alcoholism. Fuck yeah, none of this. I mean, maybe he didn't do it. I have no idea. But if it came out and he did, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I mean, Chris Leben is a guy who's always had demons. That's always been obvious. So I feel bad for him. The Jason Mayhem Miller, Chris Leben, there's a few guys in MMA that are fucking just a little nutty, man, and need to get help.
But that's it. You're talking about guys that no matter what, if he was a construction worker, he'd throw his wife a beating because he's a fucking nut job. Mayhem Miller started to show insanity a long time ago. Leben showed insanity a long time ago. Fucking War Machine, biggest prick in the world. He's been a fucking disgusting prick since day one. I couldn't stand that son of a bitch. As soon as he debuted, I'm like, this fucking prick. And you could kind of see it in some of them. You think Brian Stan doesn't treat his wife real good? I'll bet you he fucking does. You know what I mean? So with all you stupid little reporters and journalists trying to put some sort of statistical analysis together.
The dude changed his name to War Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking nuts. He just happens to be a fighter, but the dude was crazy as a son of a bitch. Like Aaron said, he could have been bagging your groceries at your local fucking Kroger's, and he would have been a fucking nut job. Like.
Yeah, and then he tattooed that chick's name to his throat, and of course she tattooed Property of War Machine on herself. So think about choices, people. You might be fucking up. So let's talk about one more thing here before we get to UFC 190 this weekend. The Nevada State Athletic Commission tells Thiago Silva he cannot fight this weekend. Clifford Stark steps in for him at World Series of Fighting. First of all, look, it's not a huge loss. It's Thiago Silva. It's not a big deal. However, what is kind of I think it's a big deal is the fact that Nevada waited until days before the fight to tell him that he's not licensed. Now, he was suspended before for doping, blood doping, PEDs, whatever you want to call it, and he served his suspension. He paid his fines, but now they're not giving him a license because he hasn't gone to a hearing and said, "I'm sorry" to the fucking athletic commission to their face. Aaron, is this? I mean, this doesn't sound fair to Thiago Silva whatsoever.
Who is it again?
Thiago Silva.
Who?
Oh, God damn it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
I stole it.
Jog on, fucker. After he had his little fucking, his run-in with craziness and stabbiness, and his woman actually had to flee the country, he got smashed out in his fucking heavyweight tournament or light heavyweight tournament or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, goodbye. I don't give a fuck if they ever license that crazy prick again. Fuck him.
And you know what? I think that right there, that sentiment, is probably why they did jerk him off a little bit. Because nobody cared. You think they do that to John Jones? Bet your sweet tits they don't. Nope. If he can't fight, he's going to know as soon as possible. Nobody gives a fuck about Thiago Silva. And they probably just big dogged him because they can. What's he going to do about it?
Right, and exactly. And he's another one of those guys. He's a fucking grease stain on the sport. Those guys should be drummed out, man. You know, all things aside, because there are some speculations about certain fighters, and if they do their own internal investigation and it turns out that it was just a woman harassing the man, because that shit happens too, you got to forgive him. But if there's any substantial evidence that that should be a lifetime ban. No athletic commission will ever license you again to fight. You done fucked up. That's it, man. That should be that should be way worse than steroids or anything like that. If you physically hurt another human being outside of athletic competition, you're done, and you're done forever. There's no apologies. There's no coming back. It's a lifetime ban. Now, instead of being privileged and using your talent for good, now you can go hump it with the fucking construction crew down the road and talk about how you used to be somebody.
I dig it. I dig it. When we did the intellectual musings, you guys let me in on a cute little fact in England. If you get caught with a pistol you're not supposed to have, you know what they give you? Life. And you know what that leads to? Motherfuckers not having guns, Jack. If they start fucking banning you from the sport, you hit your old lady or you get caught cheating, you're fucking gone. Life will be fucking building houses.
I'll tell you what, if you're making a couple $100,000 a year and your wife gets a little bit lippy, I'll bet you go out and have a beer with your friends rather than throw her a smack, because you're like, God, wait a second. Nope. Hey, Fred, how's it going? You want to go get a line and kugels? Let's get the fuck out of here.
For real, dude. I think, it seems extreme, but something like that I think would change. Like, fuck, you get caught cheating, you're gone, homeboy. Period. We don't care who you are. You fucking get caught hitting a woman as one of the best fucking unarmed fighters on planet Earth, we are not going to be associated with you ever, period.
Right, because there's no forgiving that. I mean, okay, I always go back to Michael Vick. It fucking blows my mind that Michael Vick got away with what he did, and then everybody's just supposed to be like, oh, yay, Michael Vick's back. Oh! No! You fucking forget that easily? You want to be able to fucking make the point spread that bad that you forgive that kind of shit? You know what I mean? Like War Machine attempted murder on a woman, and then it'd be like, well, you served your sentence. Welcome to World Series of Fighting. Holy fuck! Oh, Jesus Christ, there isn't another guy that could take over for this fucking nutty prick? John Copenhagen or whatever the fuck his name is? No, a lifetime ban. If it's true, if it's proven, even if your wife flies away to another country to get away from you and drops the charges, we know what happened. That's it. No athletic commission can license you because you're a piece of shit. It's the piece of shit ban.
There you go. They should call it that, and then that should be on your record forever. And you know what? I agree with you guys, and it should be through all sports. All of them. Just lifetime ban on all of them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, you look at like football players, right? They're gargantuans. 6'6", run a fucking 4.440. You know what I mean? These guys are on you quick. You know what I mean? Yeah, you are a top-level athlete. You can dismantle most human beings. You don't need to be getting handsy with your woman.
Yeah, completely off topic. Just like the little prick on your Facebook post, Eddie. I don't know who that guy was. But when you're 6'6", you don't get to hit a fucking woman in her face. I don't give a fuck what she was doing to you. You can maybe push her to the ground, but you don't cock your fist back and fucking sock her in the jaw under no fucking circumstance, man.
And Fred's talking about, I put up a post about the Florida State football player that's no longer there. He got dismissed from the team. But there was a video that came out, and he was at a bar. A chick kind of punched him in the face, and he just cocked back and boom, put her down for a second, and then bailed the fuck out. Now, yeah, I agree. Probably shouldn't have punched her. I agree. He should have pushed her down, pushed her away, or just bailed. But
yeah, just bail. Dude, you're 6'6" and 300 pounds. Just laugh a little bit, walk out, be like, peace out, bitch.
Right.
You don't react to it at all. That's like that's like getting real mad if your 11-year-old kid comes up and gives you a smack. You don't just give him a fucking elbow on the side of the head as hard as you can. It's a little kid. You're a grown man. Just fucking move on with life.
No shit, especially if you got a little buzz. Fuck, I'm like 6 foot 180. I used to get drunk and let my female friends give me a sock in the jaw all the time. Just because I thought, fuck, I'm hammered. Go for it. Like, it's like this, but right here, like it didn't. Fuck, that bitch couldn't have hurt him that bad that he needed to fucking knock her out. What the fuck? Like.
All right, we're way off topic.
Yeah,
Somebody fighting this weekend?
They actually are. And now that you mention it, UFC 190 goes down this weekend, headlined by Ronda Rousey against Betch Correia. Both undefeated. Ronda at 11-0, Betch at 9-0. I keep calling this an execution. To me, it feels like an execution. Aaron, do you give Betch Correia any chance whatsoever?
3%. 3% chance. 3% chance of winning.
What about you, Fred?
That's about perfect. That's right on the money. I mean, anything could possibly happen, but yeah, this is. Does this seem like the least legitimate challenger she's had?
Almost. I mean, with Sarah Davis?
Yeah, Sarah Davis is bad.
There is no Sarah Davises.
Yeah, Sarah Davis is pretty bad. The chick that she fucking threw, she judo threw her, and he just punched her right in the face like this and knocked her out.
What the hell you mean there's no Sarah Davis? I'm pretty sure Sarah Davis knows she exists.
Sarah Davis?
Yeah.
Am I tripping? That's her name?
I'm pretty sure it's Sarah Davis. Or is Alex Davis? I don't fucking... See, that's how little we gives a shit.
Wait a second. Is it Alexis?
Alexis Davis. Sorry. Good fucking point. All right.
So Sarah,
you're right.
What the fuck? Whatever. Either way.
Davis. Who gives a shit what her name is? She got shit whipped and knocked out. Who cares?
Yeah, Ronda's gonna fucking smash.
You know what? We've already talked about this at the beginning of the fight. You know what's more fucking amazing about this card? Ronda Rousey's already won. Who gives a shit? I already pay her. Who gives a shit? Fucking both Nogueira brothers are fighting on the card.
They're still alive. I didn't even know.
Fucking Big Nog, Little Nog, Egg Nog, they're all fucking fighting on this card.
Who's Big Nog fighting?
Where is it?
Stefan
Struve.
Hey, I can dig that. I can dig that. Wait a minute, is Little Nog fighting Shogun on this card?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's a rematch, and they're hoping to capture the magic they had in the first fight. Which, if you saw the first fight, it was fucking insane. It's not gonna happen. You guys are too old.
No way, yeah, they don't got it in them to take a brawl like that. The first one that catches one of those big punches like they took 20 years ago is probably going to fucking take a snooze, right?
You know what the crazy thing is that Little Nog has taken so many beatings, he don't even look like his twin brother no more.
You can actually tell
them apart.
Yeah,
you can tell them apart. Yeah.
Now,
So,
you can tell them apart because fucking Little Nog looks like he might be mentally handicapped now.
Who wins, Shogun?
Yeah.
I get Shogun. I think Shogun's shown obviously fought more consistently, but he just has more left in the tank.
Why does Shogun always look pudgy? Can that dude not get a six-pack? I've never seen him look... They're like, yo, Shogun looks fit for this fight. No, he don't. His belly looks like mine. What the fuck? Why is that dude never in shape?
He's always looked that way, and he has no pecs. You ever notice that?
That's kind of weird.
He's got no pecs.
You can assume he's clean then. He's not on any shit.
Christ.
I'm sure he showers all the time.
Well, yeah, of course. So, all right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this fucking card.
Yes.
Just I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, okay, Antonio Silva, Bigfoot Silva versus the Hulk. That's cool. Claudia Gadelha versus Jessica Aguilera. The funny thing is, the most legit fight is Jessica Aguilera versus Claudia Gadelha. Yeah. And the one that I want to see the most is Neil Magny versus Damian Maia.
That's the next one I want to talk about. That's a legit fight, and it's in the fucking prelims.
And all the other of these fights, it's just like, what the fuck, man? That old Clint Hester in here hanging around, and Hugo Vienna. This is just a... How in the fuck did Ronda Rousey end up headlining this pile of shit?
That's why she is. Like, she's became that type of a star that she can headline on her own, man.
Bullshit.
You'll watch the fight.
You fucking ain't right. I'll be streaming it. I ain't dropping $60 on this pile of shit. The main event's a foregone conclusion. The co-main event is two 60-year-olds fighting, and everybody else is the fucking bottom of the barrel.
Okay, so we know that you're a cute, cheap cocksucker that fucking streams it. Eddie goes and fucking deals with the bums at the sports bar.
Yep.
What do you guys think this does for actual numbers? Do you think it tanks because of the obvious outcome? Or do you think that Ronda Rousey has that Mike Tyson effect going now to where motherfuckers are going to tune in for the carnage?
I think this is going to, you know what? I think this is one where her star power fails to bring in casuals. This will be one where casuals go over to a hardcore fan's house. Like, you want to come over and split the card with me, have some beers, and I'll invite 10 people over. We all pay $5. Shit like that. But you're not going to get a casual fan who drops 50 because they haven't heard of anybody else on the card. Usually when there's a big fight like this, you're going to get a co-main that's good, and then like 3 or 4 other fights that are like, oh, I've at least heard of these people. I mean, these are the shit birdiest of the shitbirds. If you are not a fucking hardcore fan, you ain't never heard of none of these people.
True.
You haven't even heard of Betch Correia. The UFC's done a terrible job of promoting that fight. I mean, they promoted the fuck out of Kat Zingano. Okay, and people went to tune in to see if Kat Zingano could beat Ronda Rousey, and she fucking lost in seconds. It was nothing.
I'll tell you, I think right now all that shit's going out the wayside. The fucking world tour with Conor McGregor and all of the bullshit no, man, they got fucked real hard on that. And then after the big lead up, the big emotional thing with Kat Zingano, and then she goes and pulls the stupidest maneuver in the history of ever. I think they're just done with it. They're just like, all right, make a black and white commercial where Ronda has blue eyes and Betch Correia has crazy vampire eyes. Mm-hmm. Just get it done with. Put that shit on heavy rotation because the fight's going to last less time than the fucking commercial.
Well, what is there to promote, though? Like, we're not shitting on Betch when we say that she doesn't have a very impressive lineup of shit going on for her. At least Kat Zingano had the big win over Misha. She had all the tragedy that happened to her. There was a storyline. What the fuck are they going to tell us about Betch? She said one thing about suicide. They rode that horse as long as they could, and now Betch is backing off the gas a little bit because she didn't mean to fuck with her like that. Mm-hmm. You know, you can only promote so much before you got to flat start telling bull-faced lies. So, well, what the fuck are they going to say? It is what it is.
Yeah, maybe definitely. What's up?
She has an impressive record. She beat Julie Kenzie and Jessamine Duke and Shayna Baszler.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, she should have been able to beat all them in a night. I'm just saying. That's not real impressive.
And she didn't finish them very impressively, did she? Like, there was no one-punch knockouts or crazy fucking
I think she beat the shit out of Jessamine Duke and Shayna Baszler pretty good.
Yeah, but that's not impressive. That's not an impressive thing to do at all.
Right. It's not like a front kick to the face from fucking Anderson, like where you're like, oh shit, I remember that. It's etched in my brain.
You know what? It's all level of competition. Ronda has already cleaned out the best of the best at 135, and Betch Correia is, you know, playing cleanup in the fucking obscure losers of the world. You know what I mean? It is gonna be. Here's the thing. Honestly, I would never pay for this fight because it's already a foregone conclusion. There's no way in my mind that 3% is like first punch. Okay, it's like okay, you know what it is? Matt Serra versus George St. Pierre. That's the only way Betch gets it done. She clocks her in her temple, real weird, right in the beginning, and doesn't let her recover. And fucking Herb Dean or Big John, whatever, stops it early before Ronda can recover. And then what do we get? We get the fucking rematch immediately because Dana White's like, fuck, we don't want this ugly bitch to be the front of our company. Ronda comes back and fucking destroys her just like GSP broke all of Matt Serra's ribs.
True.
Yeah, so I would recommend not buying this shit this weekend. Go with your friends, go to a nearby bar, do something like that if you're really going to watch it, or stream it. Why not? That's up to you. I'm not giving out no streams and shit.
Jesus Christ, are we promoting illegal activity on the show now?
Yeah, he's like, you did. Shut up. You absolutely did promote it. You're like, I recommend you not buy this shit.
Go stream it for free.
Go over to Doc's house. He's always watching this shit for free.
Oh, shit.
I recommend you go on Google and find a way to not have to pay for it. That's all I'm going to say. Mike Jarvis says he thought Kenzie beat Betch.
In the words of DW, nobody cares what you think, goof.
Yeah, you fucking goofball. Betch Correia is 9-0, dummy.
All right. So your last guest, I think, was John Wayne Parr. Why don't you tell the guys about tell everybody about the episode?
Fantastic. If the people who are watching right now don't know who John Wayne Parr is, he is the second best English-speaking Muay Thai fighter in the history of the world, with Ramon Dekkers, the late, great Ramon Dekkers, being number one. John Wayne Parr went over to Thailand when he was 19 years old and fought Thais at their game, ended up in the Lumpini Stadium, won Lumpini Championships, which is kind of like going to Madison Square Garden as a boxer, and beat everybody but Bukaw and Yotenklæ at their own game, two of the best Thai fighters in the world. Go to YouTube, put in Yotenklæ, Bukaw, Sanchai. If you want to see real stand-up fighting. Now, if you're not familiar with Muay Thai, you can clinch, you can knee, you can elbow, you can kick and punch. The only thing you can't do is follow them down to the ground once you shit whip them down there. So it's everything that people love about MMA and none of the shit that they hate. So if you're not getting down with Muay Thai, but he was super gracious, man. Spent the entire hour with us, told us all the stories, answered every question, and then sat and broke down UFC on Fox 16 with us.
Yeah, so definitely
big UFC fan, by the way. Oh, and here's something, Fred. I don't think you know this. He actually tried to try out for Australia versus Canada, but he had to have 5 MMA fights, and he only had 2.
Ah, that's interesting.
I still don't understand how you don't Google John Wayne Parr if you're the one, the casting people.
Can you fucking see this?
Yeah, he's a.
Look how you see all them goddamn belts, Jack. That's fucking John Wayne Parr. That's a lot of motherfucking belts in Muay Thai.
Yeah, John Wayne Parr's a bad motherfucker, man, for real.
Yeah. And he's still fighting. He's 39 years old. He's still knocking fuckers out in caged Muay Thai now.
Yeah.
He has his own promotion where he puts you in an octagon with 4-ounce gloves and you do Muay Thai. They should call it murder ball.
That's fucking brilliant, though. In the words of the great Andrew Reid, I think the MMA gloves with Muay Thai rules and a cage, I'm legit going to start watching that shit, man. Outside of MMA, that's got to be exciting as fuck. How many fights you think actually make it go the distance like that, man? That's got to be exciting. If you're into stand-up, that's got to be as good as it gets.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a genius thing to do.
And let's see. There's a possibility we're going to have Rumble Johnson on this week or Jonathan Snowden. We might have to swap them because I'm talking. I know you're going to hate this, Eddie, but I got in touch with Glenn Robinson.
Oh, God damn it. I hate that motherfucker so much.
Glenn Robinson started talking back and forth with me. So we might get some Black Zillions on the show. And then we made contact with Herb Dean as well. So might be some pretty interesting episodes coming up on old Stand and Bang. So all you fuckers out there, listen if you want to. I don't give a fuck anymore.
But we recommend you subscribe like a motherfucker on iTunes because those 3 right there are fucking big guests, especially the John Wayne Parr. I'm definitely going to be listening to that tomorrow during work. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you, fellas. You can follow Aaron at Stand and Bang Radio. Follow Fred over at Kirby_MMA and at Jeff City Fighting. Follow me at Elaw31. The page is over at Crossbones MMA. And, of course, the show is at Keyboard MMA. We'll catch you guys again next week. Enjoy the card this weekend. Have a good night.